It's time for this week's Cover Price Top 10 list. Number 1 came from where? Plus the usual Deadpool spec. Let's take a look at the list. Let's break it down up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out the description of this video for my Instagram, whatnot, eBay store, email, and all that great stuff. What was that? Just banged my ring against the side of the desk. So we're going to look at the Cover Price Top 10 list. We do this every week where we look at the 10 most sold books according to covrprice.com, which is a pricing service that I don't have any affiliation with, but I use it. I have a subscription, and it gives prices, fair market value, for what it's worth, of both graded books and raw books. And the raw book component is something that's a little bit unique to Cover Price. But they have a bunch of lists, a lot of different content on there. So the top 10 list is always something kind of interesting to look at in terms of what is moving in the comic book marketplace. And it's usually an indication of the books that you don't want to buy because they're going for too much, but books that you might want to look for if you find them at a flea market or garage sale or something, that these are books that other collectors are looking for. So let's just jump right into it and take a look at the top 10. And coming in at number 10 is this Peach Momoko variant cover of Spider-Woman number 7. That it's a second print that has the first team appearance of the Assembly, Titan Cadet Marvel, Moonsquire, Liberty, and Hellrune, which are all kind of second generation iterations of popular Marvel characters. And of course, Peach Momoko does definitely have a following. It's a 1 in 25 variant, and it's too soon to get graded sales of this book, but Near Mint Raw is going for $85. That's an expensive comic book. Now, I believe that these characters, and they're on the Todd Knock cover, and we'll take a look at them. So that's Cadet Marvel. That has a connection to Ms. Marvel. That's Moonsquire. Yep. This is something related to Thor. That would be Titan. Hellrune has something maybe related to Ghost Rider. And then you have Liberty, who's related somehow to Captain America. So let's take a look at what the Cover Price article says. Peach Momoko is arguably one of the most sought-after artists in today's comic community. When Spider-Woman number 7 debuted, cover A and the Momoko variant soared in the aftermarket. It wasn't long before Marvel announced a second print, and Momoko's cover was offered as a retailer incentive virgin cover. The cover was released last week and is already running a near mint raw fair market value of $85. Don't forget that this book is also the first appearance of the Assembly. I don't know how strong the Assembly is going to hold up, but that's what we got at number 10. Let's go to number 9. And I'm not going to show you the cover because it is Penthouse Comics. Number 3, adult-only content. It's a J. Lee polybagged 1 in 10 that's going for $15. And it's been 30 years since the original series debuted, and Penthouse is making a comeback. This issue is a whopping 96 pages long, and regular covers retail for $10. Upon release, the book was a hot variant, increasing interest in the aftermarket. The 1 in 10 incentive cover already makes it more desirable. In addition, it is a secret, not safe for work cover, illustrated by an industry favorite, J. Lee. If it's your cup of tea, it's your cup of tea. Not mine. Not something I'm going to be pursuing in my collection. I don't know about the long-term value. There are definitely folks that collect this sort of thing. Let's move on to a very popular book recently on the list, and a book that gets interesting. We'll look at the data. Wolverine, number 1, the limited series from 1982 by Chris Claremont and Frank Miller, the first Wolverine solo title. And near mint books, you're going to have to pay easily over $100. about $600 for a 9.8, and look, about $8,000 for a 9.9. Let's take a look at the cover. Go Collect data. Go Collect tracks graded sales and it over time. So it gives these nice graphs. The thing I like about Go Collect, it gives you pictures, especially with current Marvel series and for variants, and you're trying to figure out which book it is. Anyway, this book was always a popular book. I mean, I remember when it came out, like this was a book that I tried to protect extra with making my own backer boards when I was, I guess, in middle school or whatever. So anyway, this book, $200-$300 book, and then in the boom, it jumps all of a sudden up to through $400 up to $1,100, and it has decreased, but the decrease has been a lot less steep, and it's right now about $600, which is about $200 or about 50% above where it was pre-boom. And you can see the sales are pretty consistent here in that $600, even over $600 range. Now, we do know Hugh Jackman movie coming out in just about less than a month from now. How will the strength of this hold up over time? That remains to be seen. It's going to be a strong key regardless. Now, there's also the big concern about the 9.9s. Now, there are 23,000 copies, universal copies on the census. 18% of them are 9.8s, but we do have 39 9.9s and 4 9.10s, and that number has been growing as especially Automatic Comics has been looking at that. Swaggle has been looking at it. There have been other YouTube channels that follow the 9.9 drama. There was the submission of 25 in a 9.8 pre-screen, it seems, and I guess 3 9.9s and a 10 that came out of that for a book that's 42 years old. So what do we have here at number 8? Wolverine is back again. The closer we get to the movie, the more likely we see Deadpool and Wolverine issues hit the aftermarket. This book marks the first Wolverine solo title, a kind of covered by Frank Miller. Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't really talk about the 9.9, but you're going to have to spend $600 probably to get a 9.8. And there's also a newsstand variant, which is even more expensive, even though it's fairly early on in the direct market days. The newsstand is going for about in the 9.8s. And there's no separate census. There are no recorded sales of 9.8 newsstands. They don't keep separate census. This has been pretty consistent. I mean, look at this. Not a lot of fluctuation in the newsstand price. And it's only been recorded since, 2021. But that book is selling for upwards of double what the direct edition sells for. Newsstands, even though they were quite prevalent in 1982, they weren't as well taken care of. Most collectors were getting their books from comic shops, and people were taking care of their books at the time. And so let's take a look at number 7 on the list, and it is Hulk number 1, the first cover appearance of Red Hulk. He doesn't actually appear in the story. It's an interesting story, actually. Ed McGuinness regular cover, first appearance of Red Hulk, Thaddeus Ross, and you can see about $75 for a high-grade copy. 9.8's going for about $250. And this book has had its ups and downs for sure. I mean, it was get down like $30 9.8 in 2014. And then it was hovering around 100 forever. The boom comes, right? And the boom says, we're going to take you up to $450. And it's been down and up a little bit whenever we kind of get news. Harrison Ford is cast to replace William Hurt. This book is in the $275 range, let's say, right now for a 9.8. Somebody got a nice bargain there on auction, although other auctions have gone for higher values. So that might have been an off-peak hours auction. In case you haven't heard, Harrison Ford will debut as Red Hulk in the upcoming Captain America Brave New World, thanks to a leak from McDonald's Toys. The rumor that Ford will Hulk out in the film has tons of support. This has increased the popularity of the book. In addition, a rumor started floating that the MCU was setting the foundation for a future World War Hulk storyline. The storyline is a highly desired fan favorite for the Grey Behemoth. However, this rumor should be taken with a grain of salt. It's likely a fast-moving fan theory based on the introduction of the Red Hulk. One word of caution on this, though, is that the Captain America Brave New World film has been pushed back. It's been plagued with, a lot of reshoots, change in focus of the storyline, and change in the title. Not all necessarily individually warning signs. And there's also pre-screenings may not have gone as well as Marvel would have liked. So I'm going to be a little bit cautiously optimistic in seeing this film. I'm certainly going to see it. And I think the Red Hulk storyline in this book is kind of interesting. It involves the Abomination, and it involves basically Ross framing Bruce Banner. So I think we have to, in order for Red Hulk to be fully Red Hulk, you have to include Hulk in the storyline. But we'll see if there's room for that in the Captain America film, or if that'll spin off into something else. So let's go to number 6 on the list. And number 6 is The Authority, number 1. So we have a DC key, which is actually a Wildstorm, which was bought by DC. The first appearance of The Authority. Was it actually the first appearance of The Authority? No, it wasn't. They appeared previously. Anyway, it's a book that is about a $40 book in high grade, upwards of $200 in a 9.8. And this is classic. Look, this is nothing burger forever. And then we did have a jump up to $350 and then back down to $48. And then James Gunn says stuff and it goes up to $550. It has been falling since then. But we kind of get a little bit of up and down when we get news that the what's the name of the character that's going to be appearing in the Superman film. And there has been already confirmed, James Gunn said there will be an Authority. I believe it's a feature film. The Engineer. That's the name of the character that's going to be in the Superman film. Fan speculation is still running rampant. The last we heard was that fans believe the Authority will likely be the main villain in the upcoming Superman film. The thought is that Gunn will introduce them in the film to give stronger support to the characters when they debut in their own solo film. The Engineer, remember, the Authority has already been cast in set photos of leaks. So the film already has a confirmed member of the Authority. It's not the largest leap to assume that the full team is not too far behind. In the meantime, this issue has been becoming popular in the aftermarket. It is a tough book to find in high grade. It's out there, but if you're trying to buy a copy, that people want a premium for it. And will they be the main antagonists of the film? I don't know. I think that's a lot to expect when James Gunn is already putting some other DC, Justice League, Justice Society, whatever, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl into the film. Are you also going to include a whole other super team? If so, they likely would have been cast, and set photos would reveal that. So I'm not sure what to make of that just yet. So I take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. Let's go to number 5 on the list. And number 5 is staying on the list. Doom number 1, the one shot from last month. Now we're seeing 9.8s come to market. This is Cover A, high grade books, about $40, $150 for 9.8s. And we can see 140, 160, 160, 161, 200, 160, 200. So people are paying up to get this book. This is not the actual cover of the book, but this has remained quite popular. And there are plenty of variants of the cover as well. Doom number 1 continues to trend this week. It originally hit popularity in the aftermarket since it was the first Doom solo series in quite some time. However, the big boost came when a fan realized that the first page and lines of the comic were a direct tribute to the late rapper MF Doom. This subtle tribute was widely praised and recognized, as kept this book's popularity going, and also kept in our top 10 and runners up for weeks. A lot of Doom spec. When are we going to get a Doom casting? It's inevitable, I think. But there are a lot of great Doom keys. I mean, almost every, especially during the Jack Kirby era, almost every cover that he appeared on is a classic cover. And some of the Byrne stuff as well. So, you have Marvel Superheroes 20, which is a classic cover in his first solo story. You obviously have his first appearance. You have his origin in Fantastic Four Annual 2. So a lot of great Doom keys that are hard, that are difficult because they're Silver Age books. They're very, very expensive. So this is a good key. I haven't yet read the story. I've heard good things about it. Let me know in the comments below if you, spoiler free, if you have read this book. In the meantime, let's go to number 4, and a book that was at the top of the list last week, Lady Deadpool #1. See, high grade copies, about $25, 9.8s, well over 200 right now. I mean, even this is the epitome of a hot book, a book that like is just 9 4s, 9 6s. Well, 9 4s and 9 6s still have value 5 months from now. Be careful with that, right? So let's take a look at the trend in the 9.8s, and this is like all over the place because, yeah, occasionally it sells for $100. It's Deadpool related, whatever. But it was a nothing burger, and then all of a sudden, maybe she's going to be in the film, maybe be Taylor Swift, up to 180, and now it's like just the sky's the limit, a $275 sale. But that sale, look, it's a month ago. This is an old sale. This is not a recent sale of a 9.8. Now, that being said, unless I didn't update, I think I did. There are only 140 copies on the census. Half of them are 9.8s. So there is a 4.0. I'm sure that's affordable. So yeah, and it's not her first appearance. There is her first appearance is in Deadpool Merc with a Mouth #7, and there's a variant cover of that. So this one shot is her first solo series. It doesn't take much to send the comic community hunting. In this case, it was a 1-second clip in a recent trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine. The clip showed a pair of legs walking toward the camera, which many interpreted to be female and belonged to Lady Deadpool. It's not a wild theory with all the variants and multiverse hopping in this film. Fans immediately jumped to the idea that Lady Deadpool could be the infamous Taylor Swift cameo, or even better, a Blake Lively cameo. Regardless of who could play the character, Lady Deadpool books are hitting new highs of popularity. This one shot of Lady Deadpool has sold 12 copies in the last week, yada, yada, yada. So, again, 9.8s are hard to come by. There aren't many on the census, and it'd be interesting to see how that's climbed over the course of the last month or so. But, again, this is related to a movie that's coming out in less than a month. Buyer beware. Number 3. New Mutants '98, the first appearance of Deadpool. Just picked up another one of these. I think I have at least 3 of these right now. So yeah, I've got to get them off to CGC. I'm not going to have them back in time for the movie, but this is a well-established key. You got to pay about $400 for a high grade. The 9.8s at just over 1,000, which is not where they used to be. You can see this boom. I mean, it jumped up when the first movie, and then the comic boom jumped this book from like a $700 book up to a, what it was its height, $2,500. Steady slope down. I think will continue to trend down, but it's still a key. But there are books out there, and look here, 25 universal copies on the census. 18% of them are 9.8s. We have 12 9.9s and a 10. Very similar numbers to Wolverine Limited Series #1. But this is a book that it's going to be a forever key. I mean, the Ryan Reynolds and the films have changed the popularity of this character, and that's going to maintain. And I don't know if it's been confirmed that Ryan Reynolds will continue playing the character, but I mean, I think he has to. He has a passion for it, and it's like printing money. Not that he needs it with the Mint Mobile deal, but yeah, I think it's just a passion of his, and it would be. I think fans really want to see Deadpool interact with more and more characters as we lead to Secret Wars. Trend was inevitable. Deadpool and Wolverine is the only MCU film to debut this year, and the hype is wild. Deadpool was always a fan favorite, and many were concerned when he was slated to enter the MCU. Many believed the House of Mouse would tone down his humor and violence to fit into the new cinematic universe. However, all the trailers and footage look promising at retaining the old R-rated goodness. Not good news for my children, who are not going to be able to see the film. Deadpool and Wolverine books are trending in the aftermarket as we approach the debut date. So I don't think we need to say much more about New Mutants '98. Everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows why it's popular. And more on this same thing at number 2. Wolverine number 8, first meeting of Deadpool and Wolverine, this classic Adam Kubert cover. And this is a book that high grade, you're going to have to spend it, $60 to $100, and 9/8 are in the $350 range. This is a tough book to get into a 9/8. There was an insert in this book. I had a really high grade copy. I could not get, no matter what I tried, I could not get the indentation from the cardboard insert that was in this book to be removed from the cover. I got a 9/4. I couldn't get a 9/8 out of this book. And there are other versions. There's a deluxe. There is a direct, and a newsstand. The deluxe is the least pricey because it was printed on better paper than the direct. And of course, newsstand for a book from, 1994 is hard to get. Let's take a look at the trend over time. And you can see, again, this book jumped from $150 to $760 during the boom. And it's been down and then up again. This book is holding its value very strong. And we can see sales here, $400, $450, $442. So that fair market value probably closer to $400. And if there ever was an iconic cover to match the upcoming film, this one is it. In 1 month, we'll see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine go toe-to-toe with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool in a highly anticipated film. This cover perfectly captures the silhouette of the two mutants in the heat of battle. There are several different price variants, but this week the title goes to the $1.95 variant. We're all sitting on the edge of our seats in anticipation of the film as fans collect all covers related to the film. I think this will still hold its value. And if we look at the census numbers here, only 2,800 graded, and even the book is fairly recent. It's late 94. Only 618 9/8, only 21% of the census. Much more common to get a 9/6, and about as common to get a 9/4. So, as I said, there are issues in trying to get this book into 9.8. Let's go to number 1 on the list, and I don't believe this. Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime, number 1. Okay. First appearance of Scrooge Above All, first Marvel-style Disney adventure. Gabriel Dell'Otto, 1 in 10 variant. There is a cover A of Alex Ross, Scrooge diving into a money pit. J. Scott Campbell, 1 in 50. I think I saw that at the store. I passed on this one. But still, $10? It's not going for a lot of money. But what does Covrprice have to say about our number 1 book? What a stir this book is causing. The book has a lot going for us, so let's cover the key aspects first. The book is the first appearance of Scrooge Above All and is also the first Marvel-style adventure for a Disney property. It is also a retailer incentive, making it rarer to find the regular cover. However, the buzz online is all about Dell'Otto's amazing cover artwork. Dell'Otto has delivered phenomenal pieces in the past, but this book really struck a chord with the fans. The search online reveals little talk about the premise and storyline. Instead, the book is being chased for that glorious cover artwork by a legendary comic artist. Again, be careful with these brand new flavor of the week books. I might pick up like the cover A if I get it for Covrprice, just out of curiosity for the story. Is it like a Marvel style adventure? Because Donald Duck by Carl Barks had like some great adventure stories back in the golden age. But it's the Scrooge McDuck, Uncle Scrooge is right. Different characters. Uncle Scrooge is not really a character that comic book collectors clamor over like Deadpool or Wolverine. So, again, if you can get this for $10, probably not the worst thing in the world. Let's take a quick look at 11 through 20 and see what that tells us about 11, the J. Scott Campbell variant. 12, Blood Hunt number 1, the Red Band edition with the crime suspense stories, homage. New Mutants 98, the newsstand. We talked about that being a little more expensive. Daredevil 184, first Daredevil and Punisher meeting. They're going to be together in the Daredevil Born Again series, and maybe people are rolling over into the next thing. Toxic Avenger #1. The announcement that the geek community would receive a new Toxic Avenger film has pants pumped. The cast was stacked, and the character fans wanted more grittier tone. It hit the film festival circuit in late 2003, and from what little information has come out, it was pretty good. However, no wider release has been set. And this is true of this film, and Peter Dinklage to play the Toxic Avenger is a really strong cast associated with it. And also the Red Sonja film, that it was nearly a year ago at San Diego Comic-Con that they did a teaser trailer. Nothing has been heard of that book since. So I'm not sure what's holding it up. Marvel Comics presents 72, number 16 on the list, the first Weapon X storyline with that classic Barry Windsor Smith cover. Will that be played out in the Wolverine film? Perhaps. Toxic Crusaders #1. New Toxic Crusaders game set to hit this year. Okay, I don't know anything about this. It is a Marvel comic, and it is from, I'm not sure what year. 30th anniversary, so that would be 1991, I assume. The George Perez Galactus cover, because Galactus is involved in this Doom story. The second part of the Daredevil Punisher meeting, that classic cover. And coming in at number 20, Amazing Spider-Man 257, the total Daniel 1 in 25 facsimile. The first appearance of the Puma, correct? And it's a Hobgoblin spec with Ned Leeds. So there you have it, the top 10 comic books according to Covrprice for the week of June 24th, 2024. Thanks for stopping by. Let me know what you think about the books on this list. In the meantime, you can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.